Welcome back to the Photo Banter Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Gagne, and on today's podcast, I welcome back my friend and fellow photographer, Andrew Caulfield, most commonly known as Ando. Last week, I spent a couple days out in San Francisco with Ando, where we attended the final Oakland Athletics baseball game, as the team's moving to Las Vegas next year. And so we spent the days kind of photographing the fans and the whole experience of the final game. So really cool spending some time with Ando and talking to him about photography. Ando's someone who I really appreciate. He's always just out there shooting, has a real enthusiasm for travel and photography. So I got to speak with him about some of his recent trips out to Nigeria, where he worked on some projects out there, and much, much more. But I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and thanks so much for listening. All right. I welcome back returning guests. It's been 4 years. Andrew Caulfield, a.k.a. Ando. Thanks for doing this again, man.
Of course, dude. Thank you for doing it again.
And you've been letting me stay at your house for like the last 4 days here while I've been at SF. And when we went to the final Oakland Athletics game 2 days ago, man.
That was amazing.
Yeah, what was being someone who lives in the Bay and has been around here for decades, like, what did you kind of think of that experience?
I thought it was super cool because I honestly haven't been to too many A's games in my life, and I've been to a ton of Giants games, and it was an interesting experience just to see. It's really sad, like, that they lost that team, and they've lost all their other teams. You know, it's kind of crazy, but that was a really fun day just to feel kind of like the love, you know, the love of like all the fans out there, and just to kind of walk around and take photos and like capture like a little bit of history. You know, it felt like it was like end of an era, but like cool history thing to like be a part of. Like one of those things you always remember. You're like, damn, I was at that game. Like,
yeah,
it
will never happen again. And we were talking about when we went there, because I was like, I never go and photograph with other photographers.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know, it's like a distracting, like I need to like focus on my work and kind of like talk. But like,
yeah,
we had a blast, man. We showed up at like 8 a.m. and we were like walking through the parking lot, and people were already like getting it in, like tailgating, barbecuing, drinking beers and shit. But yeah, it was a fun experience, man, just getting out there shooting, because we were like, yo, look at that dude, like, look at that dude.
It was cool. Like I'm the same as you. Like I don't really ever go out and shoot with people unless it's like randomly occurs, you know, like you run into somebody or something. But it's like I don't ever make a point to like, hey dude, let's go out and shoot photos together, you know. Like I'm like,
and it's not like I don't like that. I love photographers. I do a podcast, but it's like, yeah, I feel like when I'm out there doing work, I need to like focus and not be like distracted. But
yeah. It was cool that day. It was like good. Like I feel like we were like vibing off each other pretty well. So
yeah, and we ran into Sam Muller and Ryan Young. They're out there shooting for ESPN, so it was fun linking up with them.
Yeah, and just too, even the whole like Michael Zagaris thing, dude. It's like, you know, in my opinion, he's one of the photographers who's probably influenced me the most. Like, so to witness like him out in the field working and doing it, and like for the last time there, you know, I was like, man, this is like, that was like heavy for me, kind of, because I was like, man, I just know how much he loves that whole thing, and you know, it was crazy to see him out there. It was cool.
Yeah, he was. I was lucky enough to spend like 2 days with Michael at the beginning of the season, like full access, and followed around for 2 days, like in the clubhouse, on the field, and it was, man, like the dude's is so inspiring. Like he's like 79, and I feel like he got more energy than me, dude. Like we saw him, we were just watching from the seats, and he was like running around, like literally laying on the grass, like getting like crazy angles, and then like one of the craziest photos. I forget who shot it, but at the end of the game, he like kissed home plate. Yeah, I was like, man, dude, it's heavy. What is about his work that you kind of inspired you?
The like sort of, it's like it feels like it's a little more personal than just like your average like kind of work for like the rock kind of stuff, the rock stuff he did prior to baseball, and same with like the baseball and the football stuff. It's like you can tell that the people that he's like photographing, like they know him pretty well, like they're like into it, you know. They're like it's like more intimate, the moments that he gets, I think. I don't know, like, if that's true or not, but it appears to be in his photos, and they're just beautiful photos. Like,
hold on one second.
Yo, Doug, you come here. Buddy. Come on, man.
Doug, come here, dude. Hey, come here. Come on. Hey, come here. Yeah. So, I mean, his work just stands out to me. It's just like.
It's his life, because it's like,
yeah.
And I mean, I've talked about it a million times on this podcast, but it's like he's photographing the things he loves.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff back in the day, like I saw in the room over there, you have like his book with like rock and roll stuff.
Yeah, Total
Access. It was like he loved the music, he loves the people, and I think the same thing with sports and getting to be around him. He was just like, it was about the people.
Sure.
It was more than anything else, I think.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Like, there's something more to it than just being good at photos, like, and to being good at like making photos. And he's got that. You could tell, like, by looking at his work, you're like, it's like deeply, like, he's connected with the people he's photographing in a way that like creates these better photos.
Yeah, and I think I've seen you do it. Even being around you the last couple of days has been fun. Like, we were like at the bar last night. We're like walking around SF and like seeing how you shoot, and like same thing with him. Like, whoever he's interacting with at that moment, he's like present.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of sometimes people you talk to them, you can tell they're not even like listening to what you're saying. They're not present. But he like, I remember when I was following him around, like he took the time out for the security guards, like everybody there, man. And same thing too. We were walking down the street last night to the bar, and there's this woman. She had like a cool like red outfit, and she had like a baguette like in her backpack.
Oh yeah,
and like. You're like, yo, can I get you tried to photograph like some other guy, like it was a guy playing guitar, and she got like, she was kind of mad at first, like she had like an attitude about it.
Yeah.
But it was wild. It was cool to see you, like you flipped her, like you got her, and at the end of it, you guys were like homies, and not homies, but like she smiled and like she let you take your picture.
I got the photo of the baguette on her backpack, in her backpack. Like,
is that like, because I sat there and just watched the whole thing, like, do you kind of enjoy those interactions and like the challenge of like getting people to participate?
For sure. Like I think it's almost more rewarding to me than like the actual photograph a lot of the time. Like, it's like I don't want to say it's like a challenge, because at this point, like, I have zero fear of like talking to anybody, so it's not necessarily like a challenge. It's more like, I just enjoy it. Like, I enjoy talking to strangers.
Yeah.
And being like, what's up? Like, how are you? Like, what's up with this backpack? What are you doing? Like, why do you have a baguette sticking out of you? Whatever, like, whatever it may be. Like, I love those interactions. And, I do enjoy the photos, but I'd say like 90% of those types of photos that you saw me taking last night, like, they don't end up anywhere but like in like a binder. It's like, they're just, for me, like, it's just fun.
It's like the exercise of it.
Yeah, like, it's like, I always say this, like it's like stuff like that. It's like going to the gym. I'm just like warming up, like practicing for when I need to get a photo.
And you're like hungry. You're like, I've been staying here. You're like, dude, just you wait, man. Like, when people come stay with me, they can't handle it. Cause like, he's like, I'm never home, dude. Like, and it's true. Like, you're out like late at night, and then you're up at like 6, and you're like straight to like the coffee shop and like chilling, and it's like you're out there like living and shooting photos, and it's like, and it's not even like you're like, I'm going out, I'm putting on my backpack and I'm going out to shoot now. You're like, no, I'm just like, you're just living your life and it's like snapping away.
Yeah, I try to be outside as much as possible, like regardless of what I'm doing. It's like I get real like restless in the house, so it's like, and I don't want to say it leads to like bad things. It just leads to like laziness. Like, it's like I'm not very good at chilling. And then what I do is like, I get in these cycles of like eating bad and doing all this stuff where when I'm home too much, like that's what happens. So it's like, I got to be like, okay, dude, it's like 6:30 a.m. Sun's coming up. You got to get outside now.
Yeah.
Go to the coffee shop. And then I go to like, the coffee shop has become like my new like social scene. So I hit like 3 of them, like how people hit bars at night. Like, I hit 3 of them in the morning, and like, kind of like say what's up to the different like locals or whatever you want to call it at each coffee shop. And like, yeah, it's kind of once I kind of get out the door, I don't like coming back.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I want to just be out. Like,
I mean, you live in an amazing city for that.
Yeah.
Because did you ever have, like when you first started out shooting photos, were you always this comfortable approaching people, or do you feel like
no, like I didn't even, I didn't even really understand, like I didn't even really understand that whole thing until I made that Real SF book. And basically when I made that book, it was like a progression of like walking down the street and then like taking photos of stuff that I saw and then noticing what I was taking photos of and then being like, I like these photos. I want to try to get these photos. And then I started realizing like, well, I could get those like by chance if I just am out all the time, or I could like interact with the subject and like make the photo happen that I want. You know?
you were like, with that work, you were more kind of conscious of like what you were looking for a little bit?
Well, it was like a touchy thing because it was like homeless people. So like I wanted to approach it with like the utmost respect, and like I didn't want to just like kind of like snipe people without them knowing. Like, so I would talk to them and hang out with them, and for a lot of the people, like I didn't even photograph them for like days. Like I would just like see them and hang out and smoke cigs and like bring them like socks or whatever, and
It's building a rapport.
yeah, and just like it got to the point because I would do most of it at night too, and because this guy kind of put me on. He's like, "Yo, man, like just because we're homeless doesn't mean we don't got shit to do. Like in the daytime, we're doing our thing. We're like we're trying to get money for food or drugs or whatever, and at night we're chilling. Like we're doing our drugs or whatever." So he kind of put me on. So then I started going out at night, and then basically just like started learning like, oh, like through these interactions I can get better photos. And like now it's on like a more like playful scale, like, you know, like it's almost like flirting or something, you know, at this point. Like I'll be like, "Oh, cool dog, nice shoes," like, or whatever, like, you know, just break the ice, and then you see where it goes. And then through that, you know, you can get a photo. But it's generally like, it generally happens with people that I find like somewhat interesting, like for some reason. Like it could be the way they're dressed, like anything. It could be anything. I just like get these weird feelings about people where I'm like, oh, this person.
Yeah, we were driving down the street yesterday. We're going to In-N-Out Burger, like by the ocean, and there's like some lady. She had like a crazy like scooter or something with like crazy colors. And you're like, yo, like, look at that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was cool because she was like riding in a sand dune.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing? Like, you know, like, but yeah, I mean, I just like feel out. That's how I've been doing like all my new projects. Like the latest project that I'm working on is like with this author, and I would just see this dude walking around, and I could just tell there was something like special about him, you know. And I approached him a bunch of times, and he never really like. He didn't like say no to me to letting him photograph him, but it was like out of like respect for him. It wasn't the right moment for me to photograph him.
Was it like you were like pitching him a project, or no? It was just like you just want to snap one photo or something?
No, it was more like I want to hang out with you and like take photos of you and like make it into some kind of project.
Okay.
But I didn't know what the project was, right? But I was like, you're too cool. I can tell you're like too interesting for me to just take like 2 photos of and keep it moving. And you know, that's like probably a weird thing for some stranger to, you know, for a stranger to hear. They're like, what? Like, but over like a few months, you know, we started kind of seeing each other more and hanging out, and, you know, we finally started working on some stuff. So, so now I use that to develop my own personal projects and my bigger work, like where I'll just spend like days, weeks, months, like, you know, communicating with people before I even photograph them. And then when I do photograph them, after all that stuff happens, it's quick. Because you already know, like, I've like, I don't want to say like fantasized, but like, I like.
Quick how? What do you mean?
Like I work like backwards. Like I already see the photos in my head.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like with with this particular subject, like I already could tell, like I never even had been in his house, but I was already like, okay, like this house, I know what I'm gonna do in his house. I know this, like, and then it's just fast. It's just like, all right, boom, 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 boom. Let's go get a drink. Let's go get dinner. You know, whatever. Like, and so like, and interestingly enough, he's an author, and his books are great. And he told me the same thing. He's like, yeah, I always know like the end of the story, and I work like backwards. Like how do I get here? You know? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because that's kind of what I do with photos. Like I just think about what I want it to be, and then how do I get there? Like,
do you feel like you have a different approach? Because with that work, where it's like a project, like that, a body work you're working on, versus your like day to day, this kind of stuff.
Because like with that kind of stuff, I'll shoot like things that I like probably wouldn't care to shoot just in like a normal environment. Like I'll shoot all these little details, or like I like listen to things too, like where it's like, you know, if the subject's talking about something a lot, like, okay, I need a photo of that. You know, I need this. It's just basic kind of stuff, but maybe it's not stuff that would catch my eye. But like when you're like developing a project, I'm learning now. Like we talked about this the other day. Like you need more of those like details. But you had a really good
texture.
Yeah, like it adds like this texture to it.
Yeah,
that like tells the better story, and like that's really what I've been like trying to learn, because like I really only really enjoy taking photos of people, right? So it's like, but all those little things like really tell stories, like, you know, like they add to the story.
Or even like I found myself a couple years ago, and I think I've been getting better at it. I always went tight. Like I would shoot people tight. And then I realized I'm like, oh, it's like okay to shoot wide and like show the environment, because adds like another layer to it.
Yeah.
It like shows more details, and it's like,
yeah.
I try to like, because you can get, at least for me, you can kind of get stuck in your like go-to bag of tricks.
Like, I mean, 100%. I shoot the same way all the time. You know, like it's like very, very constant, and it's like rewarding when you shoot something different and it comes out cool. You're like, yeah, all right, cool. Like, or like try to trick yourself. Like I try to trick myself sometimes with like, you know, okay, today I'm not going to use this lens at all. Like I'm just going to use this one, the one I don't like to use.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. We were like, we were going to the game. You're like, I think I might just bring one lens. Just like, in a challenge of itself to like make something interesting with what you have.
Yeah, and I mean, it was the one lens I loved shooting with the most, but it's also like, it's like, you know, without the options, you think differently, you know, and you're like, how can I get the types of shots I need to get? And like, you know, that day was cool. That day was really fun, because it was like, kind of knew what to expect, but like, it wasn't it was like different kind of, you know. It was like, it was really cool. It was like I can't wait to really get the photos, because I want to see what it is. But that day was just fun, like a fun little like historical moment, but like playing with it with the camera, like, you know, like being there and like having fun. And it's not serious, it's not for any like real, there's nobody being like, we need this and this, you know. You're just like, dude, I can do whatever I want today.
Yeah. And it was like, we were talking about how I don't go to like a lot of huge events like that. I go to games, but I don't go to a lot of events where it's like that many people in one place. And in those environments, it's just like a different energy that doesn't exist unless you get that many people in one place. And it was just like spirits were high, and that was exciting. But one thing I really got a kick out of, you were talking about, like, because I know you love shooting film, like you're shooting with your contacts and stuff like that. And you're like, you know, digital, like you weren't hating on it, but you're like, I hate shooting digital because it's like you got to bring all these like trinkets and attachments and shit. It's like, that's a perfect way to describe it. It's like I got to bring 4 chargers and 5 batteries. And right. It's fucking shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, I'll go shoot digital, and I have like a backpack with like all this crap, like a photo bag, you know, and it's like 40 pounds. And it's like, but it's like, that's how I want to shoot. Like when I shoot digital, that's how I want to shoot. I want to have all my lenses, and I want to have all the stuff. Like, you know, I don't want to have like, I don't want to, like, sometimes I'll go out with like my, like the little Rico, whatever, GR3, and like that thing's great because it's kind of just like simple. But But then, yeah, I'll go out with like the contacts, and it's like I got a couple rolls of film in my pocket and that thing around my neck, and I'm just like, all right, like it's fun.
I like you got the flash and you're like, I got it dialed in at F8. It's just like dialed. Like,
Yeah, everything F8 or F11, like always, pretty much. Like, I don't know why that is. I don't think it has anything to do with the photo. I think it just has to do with that particular camera. I think it focuses better at that range.
Well, you just use it a lot. It's like anything. You use the tool and you get used to it and you know what to expect and like it's, you're ready.
I mean, in general, I love shooting like, but it's weird. Every camera setup I use, I shooted them very differently. Mm-hmm. They're each like a tool to do something. Like digital is like definitely a tool, and like with digital, I shoot a lot differently because I shoot it to edit it. Mm-hmm. I shoot it like knowing like, oh, this is like the lighting's crazy, so I'm gonna shoot this like this certain way so that I can edit it later and make it like better. Which I don't know if that's like good or bad, but I mean it's just kind of how it is. Like growing up, like shooting skating, I missed like the era of shooting like skateboarding on film.
Like chromes and all that.
Yeah. I never really learned it. I learned it like afterwards. Like I was like shooting like film for fun, like point and shoots and SLRs, and then got like into shooting skating, and economically it made more sense for me to just do that, to buy a digital camera and to do that. And then through doing that, I learned a lot more, and it's like a good way to learn it is, it's a good way to learn stuff. So, but now it's like, I don't know if it's like laziness or just like whatever. I just try to shoot almost everything on film because it feels easier for me now, and I like the mess ups in it. I like the like. Yeah,
you were talking about. You're like, I love a blurry photo and like this kind of mess. Yeah, because there is this like, with technology and everything, it's always this like. Here's the new thing. It's just like, get this. It's sharper and clearer. And I'm not guilty. I just bought the new fucking iPhone. But it's like, but sometimes it's like, you don't need all that. Like, like the blurriness and whatever, it can be another tool in your bag. And not to say you need to use it all the time. You can pick it when you want.
It just depends on what you're shooting, I think. And like, what, like definitely for like my personal stuff, like I love the imperfections and the weirdness and that kind of stuff of like shooting with a film camera. And every single camera I've ever bought has been used as well. It's not like I'm buying like fresh out the box stuff. So there's always something a little bit wrong with them, like.
I like your work when I look at it. It's like, it's almost like a collage.
Yeah.
It's like different textures and all the travel and all the different like cameras.
Well, I get like really in these like zones where I'm only shooting color on like, and I get obsessed with like, okay, I'm only shooting color and I only want to shoot like these types of people or this types of things. They're like, I'm only doing black and white and this, and I want to do this, like. And then, or like I'll go on trips and I'll shoot a ton of digital stuff and skateboarding and whatever. But it's like, I get in these zones, and I think it's really important for me, at least, to keep like bouncing around style wise for me, like, or camera wise even, helps me get better like at the other styles that I want to do. Like I learn from each one, like, like just I did a project in France like in the summer. And it taught me like a lot about shooting farther away, like how we were talking about. Like I like to shoot up. You were saying you like to shoot up close. I like to shoot kind of up close as well. And I was like, I gotta shoot like more wider and see more of the stuff, tell more of a story. And like I was really, really happy with like the work that I got out there, and it kind of opened my mind up to like doing different stuff now. So like, take that same approach with. I kind of was taking that approach at the A's game, to be honest with you. Like, lots of up close detail stuff. Like, you saw me shooting, and I would just be like, "Hey, could I shoot you?" And I'd be like, like.
And even halfway we were shooting, you're like shooting people, and then you're like, "I gotta remember to get the details stuff."
Yeah.
I gotta remember. And you're just like going through the like, because even while you're shooting your work, you're like having this mental like, I don't know what the word is, but this like, you're like. Putting it together in your mind,
right?
Like, you're like, I need this.
Remember, I was like obsessing about the nacho helmet.
Yeah,
like I was like, I need a photo of the nacho helmet, dude. Like, but it was so hectic. Like, I didn't want to like stop somebody and be like, hey, can I take a photo of your nacho helmet? And then just randomly, I saw like this old lady with 2 of them, and I was like, yes, like it's even better. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, you know, those little details are like something that's like kind of new to me. Like, I'm not super, you know, I just like taking photos of people. So I'm trying to figure out how to like learn more stuff and like see other things like even like the photo I had in the show last night, you know, it's like such a different type of photo for me. It's just like basically all white with like the Golden Gate Bridge all tiny. But like things like that, like I'm like, okay, try different stuff and see what happens.
Yeah,
like,
and even if you don't use it, it's like you're trying it. At least you have that to like. That's what, even with me. Like I was saying, I was like, I gotta like, I shoot tight, but then I'm like trying to make myself, especially in terms of like environmental portraiture. Mostly when I'm talking about it, it's like shoot wider to show the environment. And like I still might end up just using the tight one.
Yeah.
But at least I shot the other one so I can like make a decision.
Right. And if you're shooting digital too, it's good to shoot wide because you can always crop it.
Yeah.
Like that's like one, I remember learning that like on some skate trips, like because I was trying to get like really tight, you know, on some stuff. And Dave Kami, who's like a brilliant skateboard photographer and just like a brilliant photographer. I mean, he's the best dude.
How's he doing? He had that crazy accident a couple years.
He's good now. He's good. Yeah, he had like a horrible motorcycle accident, whatever.
Yeah.
He's good now, but he taught me a lot of stuff like about that kind of like shooting wider than you think, and then you can compose the frame like later. Also, he was like he worked for Transworld and other magazines, so like it's good to have those options. You know, it's like, oh, actually, we'll do it like this or this or like. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes now I just don't even think. Like,
He's out there doing it.
yeah, like I really just like. I mean, you saw it last night. It's like I just see stuff. I'm like, like, you know, and like I just kind of go. And then what I do is I just put all of my film in like this bag, and like once a week, and once a week or once every 2 weeks, I'll go develop it. It's kind of nice because I don't label it anything, zero. I just like get it, and I'm like, oh, like I forgot I even took this, you know, like
Yeah.
it's cool.
One thing, man, I always really appreciate about you, dude. Like you always have like a positive attitude,
Right.
and like you say, I've never seen you like stressed out, and you're just always like when you're around people. Like I don't know anybody who will like say a bad word about you, man. Like where does that like? Are you conscious of just having a positive attitude every day? Like, do you have down days or like? Because it's something I really respect about you, man. And I think that's why the people.
Thanks.
When you approach people, like you're always got a smile for them, and I think that almost like disarms people. Like sometimes with like.
I think I have bad days, but like, I think it comes from like, I've had like a lot of like really bad days in life, like kind of like, or very like kind of early on in my life, and it sort of taught me like there was like a time where I was like, just like, oh, like, not saying it's all perspective, but like was kind of like, we have like the tools to like go like to make yourself feel better, right? Like I'm lucky because I know the things I like to do, right? So I know how to maintain this like kind of mental health for myself, like, and it's all like that stuff, like going out, leaving the house, like getting out, like if not I get sucked into like these like depressions and stuff. But when it comes to my interactions with people, like I'm always pretty positive because like who wants some fucking dickhead coming up to them and talking you know, it's like nobody wants that, like. And you know, I'm a big believer in like kind of like treat people how you want to be treated and just all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I get road rage and shit like that, you know. You know what I mean? Like, I get road rage. Like, sometimes I want to throw my coffee like at somebody.
How you did that there? Like, what are we doing here, people?
Yeah, like I get road rage all the time. But like I've never like, you know, done anything about it. But
and you seem like you just like you enjoy your life, man. And you're like even like we were at last night. We were like at some like a street taco spot waiting for our sandwich, and you're like, yo, man, like. Who knows how much more time I got, man? Like I got to do what I can. Like,
I mean, it's kind of true, man. Like I think about it all the time, and I have some like pretty weird views on like life where I'm like, you know, it's it's sort of like we kind of can live in your own reality, like, you know what I mean, like, and there's nothing really wrong with that. Like, we don't have to subscribe to like the reality that like is told that we are supposed to be in. Like, you can be like, dude, I'm just gonna enjoy what I have and like have fun with it. And like, I mean, it's maybe it's like maybe it's bad in a way, but like it really works for me. And like, I think I learned it in the last like 5 years. I've just really like let go of a bunch of stuff and just been like, you know, very happy to have what I have and like my family and my friends and like the opportunities I have. And it's like, there's just two ways to look at everything. Like, you can be like, man, I want all this more. I want more. I want to do this. And that's okay. But like, it's also cool to be like, dude, I'm so happy that I got the stuff I have and that I'm like doing what I'm doing. Like, you know, just being happy with like what you have today and like not focusing so much on what you don't have.
Yeah, I think there's like a lot of people, and I'm sure I have some of it too in some regards, like there's like social pressure. And the older you get, like, oh, you're not married yet, or like you don't own a house yet.
Right.
Like, you're still renting.
Right.
I'm just like, why do I need to buy shit to like that's, if you want, what do I give a fuck what you got? Like,
and like, it's all good to all the people that are doing that.
If that's what's important to you.
Yeah.
But it's like,
but I think for me, it's really important to like, for me, I need time. Like, I want time.
Yep.
That's all I want.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to have to like rush out of my house. I mean, I do anyway, but I don't want to have to rush out to go to work somewhere, like, or whatever. Like I want to be on my own time and just like do the thing. I work super hard. I have like a crazy hard, like, I work hard when I work.
Yeah.
You know, I'll put in the hours, like I'll do whatever, but time, I learned, is like really more valuable. And it's funny, as we get older, I'm almost 45. My birthday's coming up here soon. And, you know, I'm at that age where people have already had kids and this and that, you know, their kids are like getting older, whatever, like, or they're on like their second divorce or whatever, you know, and they're people are always like, dude, I'm so jealous. Like, you got it. You figured some stuff out. Like, you didn't subscribe to all the crap. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you know, but the grass is always greener too. There's days that I'm like, God, I wish I just had like a normal job or like, you know, something to focus on. You know, it's like, sometimes it gets frustrating. I'd say that's one of the things that like makes me kind of get down, is like when I don't have a project that I really want to work on, and you're like, I'm sure you understand this as a photographer, you try to like create something, but it's like not real. Like, you're like, oh, I'm going to go shoot like this today, you know, or these things now. I'm going to work on this. And it's like, you shoot a couple rolls and you're like, this is garbage. Like, what am I doing? I got to just wait until something like really.
Yeah, you can't just manufacture it. Like, even like the project you're working with the writer, like, it just kind of, that guy came into your life at the right time and it kind of worked out. And it's like that those type of things and interactions don't happen every day. When they do, then it's like the exciting thing about photography. And you're
I think the other thing too for me is that I've really changed my reward structure, I guess you could call it, where like a lot of the personal work I do, like, I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna drop this in 3 months and it's gonna be this. Like, I'm just like, whatever, man. Like, I'll just shoot stuff, and like over years and time, like, these projects sort of like develop themselves. Like, I'll start looking through like archives and I'll be like, oh, I have a ton of photos of like this type of interaction, but like in multiple countries. You know, like my last show was kind of like that. It was like, I got really obsessed with like this one photo that I took of these two little girls on a bench in Cuba, and they're kind of like silhouetted, and I like the idea of the photo where it's like, you don't know who they are, you don't even know how like old they are, you don't know where it is, like, you don't know anything about it, like, you don't know if that photo's 50 years old or was shot like yesterday. And so I got really obsessed with like those kind of like moments, like like the creating like the timeless photo now, like kind of thing, which I think a lot of photographers do, but like, but that project like kind of came about naturally where I was like, oh, like I started looking through photos from really just the last like 6 months that I was traveling, and just found like 20 that I'm like, these work perfectly together. Like they're all like silhouettes of people or things like you don't know where it is, when it is, what's going on, like, and I was like, oh, this is a little project, cool. Like it just sort of like,
because what your mindset was different before. It was more about like I got to like capture. I don't know.
I think it was all about, I don't know what my mindset was before. I was like trying to figure out, like, I have no patience, and so I try to do projects in like 3 days, like perfect examples, like the A's game.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to shoot 15 rolls today. I'm making a book. Like, it's like, it's just like, whoa, dude, slow down. Like chill out, dude. Like,
that's like a unique challenge though. Cause you only can do it in a short amount of time, but it is fun.
But those are the kinds of things like I love. And I think it comes from like my work stuff that I do. Like I work for this photo agency. We do a lot of like event stuff, and we're essentially like paid paparazzi. So it's like, they're like, okay, this thing's happening at the museum or whatever. You really have like 2 hours to get like everything done. We're just going insane shooting. So my brain isn't like that a lot. Like, but I would like to come up with some, like an actual project, but I'm starting to realize like the way that I shoot, like I look through my old stuff and it's all, there's a lot of like cohesiveness like that I didn't even know about. Like I'm like, oh, this photo from here goes really well with like this. It's just moments that you're drawn to as like personally, like over time you notice that you capture the same moments like anywhere you go.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, I don't know how it is. It's like, it's almost like you do it subconsciously. Like you're just like,
because the things you like and the things that
Right.
excite you, you can kind of see I mean, you're very well traveled, and like I've traveled some, but it's like everywhere's kind of the same, and,
Totally.
and different.
Exactly.
And it's like
it has like its uniqueness. Everywhere has like its uniqueness, but like humans are humans, dude. Like we're all really the same.
Yeah.
So it's like, we all, everywhere you go, people just want to like laugh, like eat some food, have a beer,
have friends.
Yeah. It's like we all have the same like desires, and those desires like spill out like every place on the planet that there's a human.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like if you capture that kind of stuff, it's universal, it's everywhere. So,
and you spent like you were living in Spain up until like, I don't know, like a year, almost less than a year ago. You were there, how long you were living in Spain for? Like almost like 2 years or something?
I was in Spain for like 2.5 years or something like that, like, and like November of 2020 to like March or something like last year, but I still go there all the time. Like,
how's that experience like living in another country, and then when you come back to America, did it teach you anything even just about America, getting to go live in a different country?
I mean, definitely. And I've been going to Spain for like 12 years or 15 years or whatever for skating stuff, and we would spend like 3 or 4 months at a time, and so like even then it kind of taught me like, oh, there's like a better way. That's I think where I've developed like the desire to not, like, I want to be out like in like public spaces and hanging out. It's kind of like there, like you don't, the like drive to like have the big house and all that stuff is not really there as much. I'm sure there's people that are like that, but it's like, from what I noticed, it's like, and in most countries other than America, honestly, it's like, you have what you have, and there's like, the public spaces are like designed to really enjoy them, and like life is more enjoyable in some of those places. So like there, I was like, I lived in this little tiny house there, and I had like really nothing. I had like a bed and a table and a computer. And I was like, oh man, I don't need any of this shit.
Because you're never in your house here. Like you have a cool apartment here, but you don't need this much even. It's because that is the cool thing. Like I've been to Europe, like Italy and Spain, and a lot of the areas they have like big squares.
Yeah.
And people meet there like the end of the day when they finish work, and like there'll be like someone playing music or whatever, and it's like this gathering people and people like chop it up with their neighbors, you know. Totally. Whereas like a lot of times like. I bet you've been living on this block for years, and like I don't know how many. There's probably a lot of neighbors you never even talk to. Like
for sure. I mean, I'm friends with a few of them, and my next door neighbor is like we're super close. But like, it's just totally different there. Like, I mean, I have dual citizenship, so my plan is like to go back there, but probably maybe not to Spain. I'm not really sure. I got really obsessed with Italy recently, and like.
You were driving. You're saying you drove through Monaco. Like, what was that like?
It's cool, man. I've been there a couple times. It's like pretty.
That's like ultra wealthy shit, right?
It is, but it's like, it's not like you drive through it and you're like, what the hell? I mean, you see like some Lamborghinis and some stuff, and there's like crazy stores, and it's definitely wealthy. I mean, it's definitely some baller area, but I mean, I was kind of like. I wouldn't want to say underwhelmed, but I was like, just like, oh, okay. Like you get away from like the casino or where the boats are. It kind of looks pretty damn normal. Like, I mean, it's beautiful. It's not like, I wouldn't say it looks normal, but it's not like it's not like oozing with wealth. Like it's
still like old buildings from Italy and shit. Like,
it's like, I mean, the stuff, it's gorgeous, and it's like the views are insane. It's beautiful. Like Monaco's cool, but, I mean, I love all those towns around there. Like, but every summer I go to this town in France with my girlfriend, and like it's right near Monaco. So I just go to Monaco for like the day. Yeah. And I go like gamble at the casino.
you're like fucking 007 out here.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm like, you got it. I put like $20 down.
Got your black suit on.
Not even like, I look grimy as hell, but I'll go and like try to shoot like a roll of film there, and it's like a 20-minute drive from where we stay. So I'm like, I'll go check.
How different is it approaching people in like other countries versus America in terms of photographing? I mean, you think there's a different attitude, or like are people like less approachable or no, or like?
I think it depends on the country or the region. I'd say like Asia is hard actually. Like Asia seems kind of hard to me. I don't know why. Like Japan's easy. Like that people are super nice and stuff, but like some other parts of Asia I've had like difficulty like doing it. Also there's like just language barrier stuff that's like difficult. Spain, I was like really obsessed. I'm really obsessed with like the older people there. Like I love their lifestyle that they live. Like they're just like, they're super sharp dressed, but like also comfortable in like some loafers, like chain smoking cigs.
Sounds like you did.
And I'm like, dude, like these guys got it going. So like I'll try to take photos of them, but people get bummed, and I hate bumming people out. Like I think that's a big reason why I ask like so many people, because a lot of like the street photography, and first off, I don't consider myself like a street photographer at all, but a lot of my friends are here, and they're always like, oh, yeah, it's crazy. You ask everyone to take their photo. I'm like, yeah, like.
No, I'm the same way, because I want it to be known, like, we're having an interaction here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
Also, too, like, I'm like, fuck, who knows? Like, this person might be super cool.
Yeah.
And, like, be like, I don't know. It's just like, again, it's like, for me, it's like, it's more than the photo. It's like, I want to have a positive interaction with, like, a stranger, to where they leave, and this is the other funny thing too, is like people are like, oh, can you send me the photo? And I'm always like, dude, probably not. Like, like I'm like, by the time I get this roll of film developed, I'm gonna forget.
I might not look at this until like 3 years from now.
Yeah, like I'll forget like where I even put your email, dude, or whatever. Also, I just am honest with them. I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like,
and yeah, you're good about that. You're like, because we live in this culture now with like social media and everything, and there's like this need to like, gotta get your shit out. But you're like, you'll kind of like sit on stuff for a while.
Well, so I have like a theory about that too, is that it's okay to like post every day, right? But if you create like a body of work where like let's just say you're shooting like rolls of film or whatever you're shooting, and you don't post for a while. You just have like months of work, and then you start posting it while you're working on stuff. Like generally the stuff I'm posting I shot months ago, you know, like because it's like finally I'm like, oh, I developed a film or this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it is good because, like, unfortunately these days, like Instagram is like a mini website, you know, and it does get people work. But like, you don't have to go and shoot something to post that day. You can like, if you just stack stuff up for like months or whatever it is, you know. And I post stuff like twice sometimes. Like I don't even care. Like,
I've talked to that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is like. With Instagram, there's like this idea that you can't share, like, because you think of other artists, like, they share the same fucking, look,
right.
Oh, even like Ansel Adams shit. I mean, I know he's dead, but like, they were sharing, like, you go to any of those exhibits, they're running the same photos. They're playing their hits. Like, you go to the Rolling Stones, they're going to play the hits.
Well, that's what, like, there's a Dennis McGrath, who's like a really brilliant photographer. I love his work, and he's like a good friend of mine. He told me like one of the best things that stuck with me. He's like, man, you shoot your whole life to have like 10 greatest hits, like the 10 photos that everybody wants to see.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, that's like, if you can get those 10, like you kind of like, that's great. Like if you have 10, like, I don't say like iconic photos or whatever, you know, but like photos that people are like, oh yeah, this photo's great.
Yeah, look
know?
at Elliot Earl, man. He's got his hits and people see him all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I used to think that way too. Like you can't share. Granted, like if you're just showing the same shit over and over, then like I mean, I don't know about that, but like you should. I want to keep making new work too.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think you should, but like, there's a lot of like great photographers, and like they had like an era, right, where they like dominated, and then like, you know, maybe they weren't inspired anymore to shoot or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that, you know, they're running the same stuff over and over, which is fine. Like I think it's great. Like I go through stuff like especially like digital stuff, like from trips and stuff, like I'll edit it like 50 times before I even like I'll like play around with everything, you know, like just see what I like and what I don't like and this, and like post stuff up, and then I'll be like, oh, here's the, you know, a month later, here's the black and white version or whatever, like but yeah, I mean, I think it's okay to like do that. And
yeah, especially in terms of like when you're trying to market your work, and because a lot of people aren't going to see your shit on Instagram because the algorithm's not going to show it to them.
Right.
And then also there's like busy, and like everyone's just busy with their own shit, and like and nor should they be like on top of what you're doing all the time. So it's just kind of like a reminder.
I think the coolest thing you can do with Instagram is like instead of posting, and I don't do this enough, but it's hard to do, is like instead of posting like work on Instagram, I like posting like stuff I did somewhere else. Like, you know, like that's more what I've been trying to do.
What
like,
do you mean by like that?
Like say like I had like I just printed this 25-foot like print. Mm-hmm. It's a single piece of paper, 25 feet. It's crazy. It's like a bus. It's an insane photo. And I was like trying to find like somewhere to put it, you know, like so I could take a photo of it and then post that photo and be like, go check this thing out. You know, like it's good. I think it's a good tool to like post stuff that you're like doing. Like say you like make a little like this A's thing, you know, like, like I'll post like, here's this thing I made, but I didn't just shoot all that film to post it on Instagram. Yeah, you know, it's like, but it's hard because you can't always be like working on stuff, and also too like you can't like I feel like there's got to be like downtimes, like creative downtimes, like where you're just like chilling, like, you know, like but yeah, I mean, I don't know, like I used to hate Instagram, and now I'm like, I still do kind of hate it, but I post pretty regularly now. Yeah, just because I've noticed people respond to it, like people are like, hey, this is cool, like, you know, and it helps me get work, and it helps me get a lot of stuff where I'm like, oh, all right,
Yeah, it's just like have fun with it. And I don't take it too seriously. At least for me, like I try to have fun with it and like goof around and shit. And it's like, like last night I zoomed in on your face. You're oh, you got rid of the mustache already.
I got rid of the mustache.
Yeah. It's like fucking just having a good time, man. You went to back in January. You went to was it Nigeria?
Yeah.
What was it? What was the city called? Lagos.
Yeah.
What was that all about? And how was that experience out there?
It was great, man. We went out there with this nonprofit called Salad Days. They do like they help get funding to build skate parks like all around the world, but they're generally in like countries that you would never expect a skate park to be in.
It's like Afghanistan and shit, like
right. So they did one in Pakistan. They did one in Bhutan. They're working on one in Morocco, like in November. And I've been on a bunch of trips with them to various places, but that's what this trip was. It was basically like to go and document like the space before they built the park, and to like really to just meet the people too.
Because you guys were out there for like 3 weeks or something.
We were out there for a couple weeks, yeah, and like it was honestly like one of the best trips of my life. Like there was like there's a brand out there called WAF, and basically these guys like took such good care of us, and it's honestly like Lagos is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Like the people are incredible, the art, the food, the vibe, like everything.
Was that your first time to Africa?
No, I've been to Kenya when I was like, actually like I like randomly like one of my first like real photo jobs was like in Africa.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was like a PA for a documentary.
Okay.
And it was like real run and gun style, like just a dude with a camera and like me pretty much. And I actually was filming. I wasn't really taking photos on that trip, but I mean, I made a book out of it that I never came out with because it didn't feel like I liked the work so much and it's so different than what people know of me that I feel like it would go like over people's heads. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like they'd be like, "Oh, that's cool," but like, what's up with like your party photos of like Larry June or something? You know, like where it's like. But I'm like, dude, this is like one of those things where I was like, I'm just gonna like sit on this. But yeah, so I went there in like 2010. I went to Kenya, to a town outside of Nairobi, and it was amazing, dude.
But with Nigeria, like when you guys got there, like is there like a big skate scene there already, or like what was the vibe?
There's definitely skaters there, and they're good at skating. And there's like street spots, and we shot a bunch of like skate photos like in the streets. We went out skating a lot, and it's like the vibe is amazing. I mean, it's like there's people everywhere. They're coming up to you. They're so intrigued. I met so many photographers. Like, dude, one of the best photographers, like this dude blows my mind, Masako. He's amazing.
And they were cool with you guys just showing up and like doing your thing. Like it was like welcoming, or
yeah. I mean, we were with like dudes from there, and I'm sure those dudes helped the situation, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, to be honest with you, like out of everywhere I've been in the world, like I didn't feel like sketched out or anything, like, you know, like there's potential anywhere for shit to go down. But it was actually funny when I was there. One of the guys, my homie Booms, he was like, he's rad. I love him. Shout out Booms. He's like, what's the most dangerous country you think you've ever been to? And I was like, dude, the United States. Yeah, I was like, 100%. Yeah. I was like, dude, it's sketchy as fuck.
You know how many guns we got here, dude?
Yeah, I was like, dude, it's like wild here. Like
we were walking down the street last night, and there's this guy that had a gun right on the fucking table there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah, it's like wild here. Like it's like, dude, it's just like people are getting shot all the time, and like fucking 100,000 fentanyl overdoses a year. You know, it's It's fucked up here.
It's just using common sense. Don't be an asshole, especially like somewhere where you're visiting. Like, don't be flashing expensive shit, and just be respectful of like where you're visiting, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's all just like you said, just like common courtesy, man. Like, and like holding your own, like, you know, like if some people try to punk you, like you got to read the situation and like you either got to stand up for yourself or you got to run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you need to know what to do. Yeah. Like you got to like pay attention and like, you know, I don't know. It's just, but it's all just like common courtesy and,
yeah, you're like fearless in anywhere, like in terms of travel. You're down to go anywhere.
I will go anywhere.
Like, you were telling me last night. You're like, yeah, I applied for a visa to go to North Korea.
Yeah, I tried to go.
I was like, you're fucking crazy, dude.
I tried to go by myself, like, and they're just like, dude, no, like.
What is that? It's just like you're.
I just want to knock them all out before like I get too old, you know, like. Yeah. And then all the countries that I feel like that you think are like sketchy, like, you know, growing up in America, like being the age that I am, like we're always in like wars with like Middle East and this and like Iraq and like so, but I like know people from Iraq and they're amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, it's like they're like, nah, dude, it's like a beautiful country. And so I'm like, I want to go there. I want to go to a bunch of places. Like, but I want to go kind of like I've been down to go anywhere. I'd like to see more of America. You know, I was inspired by what's his name? What's his name? Mark Latier or whatever, the podcaster dude, Soft White Underbelly.
Oh yeah.
But he's got that. He was a photographer, you know. And he shot all that stuff around America.
I think he was based in the Bay Area. I think at one point. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, he shot all like early Apple, like still life shit, and was like a commercial guy. And then he just kind of
exactly.
Then he just kind of stopped, and then that thing blew up.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he went on. He went around the country. Like whatever, taking photos. But then he met like that family in Appalachia, like the inbred family.
Yo, that shit was wild.
And like he was like, I have to film this. Like, and that's kind of, you know, but something like I don't want to do that exact kind of project, but something where you don't even know what you're doing is like right up my alley right now. So that could really be anywhere. Like, you know, be like, I'm gonna go to Canada and just, you know, whatever, like. Drive through Canada and see what happens. Like,
because what do you think you learn most from traveling and like getting to meet all these different people?
Honestly, dude, it's just like you said earlier, how similar we all are. Like, really, how like the desires for our human desires are identical. Like anywhere, and there's like cultural differences on how we like achieve those desires. But like, if you break it down to like, you know, the root of it. It's like identical. Yeah. You know, like when I went the first time I went to Africa, like we were in a really poor area and the very first day I was like walking through there with all this like camera gear and just whatever. And everybody was super cool. And then, like, people are like, have a beer with me, you know, have a beer. Or, like, Cuba's a great example. Yeah. You know, like, they don't have much.
They don't have shit.
But they're like, come to my grandma's house and eat food with us and, like, hang out and, like, talk and, like, and you're like, yeah, I want to do all that.
And it's, like, not weird. Like, you show up to someone's house, their family's house, and it's like, yeah, what's up? Like, you want tea? Like, whereas, like, you die here, like, who's this motherfucker? Like, like.
But it's like those things are, like, they're universal. Like, anywhere you go, like I said, there may be like these cultural boundaries, like your differences. Yeah. But if you can get through that and just like show somebody, like, dude, I'm just like a totally normal dude, like,
and I'm actually interested in you.
Yeah, like, you know, and that's like a thing where language is really important. Like, you have to learn how to. You have to learn. This is the thing I realized, like when I was learning Spanish. Like when you're taught a language, like in school, it's all like I need, like I want, like it's all about you, how you're taught, and it's like it messes people up, like because they go to these countries and they're like, I want a beer, I want this, like they don't know how to say like how are you, like what do you do, like they don't know how to ask questions about people, right? So if you learn that stuff, it's like people are like, what?
And dude, that's who you are. Because even last night, like you had a good night, and we were finished off. We got the torta, and you paid or whatever. I'm like, bro, like I'll Venmo you $20, and you're like, bro, like it don't even matter, man. You're like, I'm like, right? It doesn't even matter, dude. I was just like, all right,
It doesn't, dude. Because if I come out to your neck of the woods, it's like you'll take me out. It's like
you're not like keeping a tab, like yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like that was a thing that I tripped on living in Spain, because I speak Spanish, but like I'm definitely not fluent.
Yeah.
But I can maintain a conversation, and I can talk to anybody pretty much about anything. But it's like, but I realized, like I get to this point in the conversation, like they initiate a conversation, and I can like answer. But then I didn't know how to be like, well, what about you? Like, what do you do for fun? Or what do you like? And that's when like the language changed for me. And I was like, oh, like I got to learn. I need to like focus in on like,
don't be selfish.
Just, yeah. Cause it's like in school, it's like, you're taught like,
how do I get what I need?
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's like where directions and food and this, it's like only your needs. And like, it's like, unless you get like a more advanced education, I guess. I don't know. But once I realized that, I was like, this is like a whole different ball game now.
Dude, my favorite thing when I travel and get to meet people, I love asking them like just tell me like, what do you think about America? And like don't hold back. You're not gonna offend me. Yeah. Because it's like I learn a lot from it, and it's like I went to Germany last year, and I was like, my friend out there, I was like, dude, just shoot me straight. At first he was like, I was like, no, like seriously, like tell me what you think. And he's just like, I go out there, it feels like everything's just falling apart. I was like, yeah, you're not wrong.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But yeah, travel is incredible.
I kind of made I don't know if I made the decision. Maybe I just accepted the fact that I have to do it, like for myself. I travel a lot, like alone,
Me too. I'm basically always.
Yeah, so it's like I'll just like go places and be like, all right, I'm out. Like I'm gonna go here.
And like you make your plans like a couple days beforehand. You're like, all right, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I have like a loose idea. Like, in October I want to go, to Paris or whatever. And it's like, thank God for skateboarding too, because like, and you can probably relate to this. It's like
you have
friends
people everywhere. Even
like last night we seen Larry.
Yeah.
It's like you just like
he knew like two of my friends from Boston. I did this like some dude I never met, and
like you see people like I'll go to like I remember I went to like Portugal or something, and like first time I ever went to Lisbon, and I just like hit somebody up, and I was like, hey, where should I go? And they're like, just go to this square.
Yeah.
Like that's where people skate. And I like went to the square first thing, like, oh, what's up? Like
dude, that's what I did when I went to college in Rochester, New York, like upstate New York. Never been there, knew nobody there. First day, I found this shop, Crudco. Just went there, like introduced myself. Yeah. And those dudes have been my homies for 20 years. Yeah. Like, and that's all it was. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's the best. Like, it's the greatest gift. Like, it's the biggest family. It's the best thing ever. Like skateboarding, because it's also kind of like it for life. Like you just like, as we get older, I realize like, dude, I'm still friends with like the same people through it, and they're getting older too, and we're all doing older stuff now, but we're doing it together.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to like the art shows at the crazy galleries, it's all the older guys, like, or whatever, like, it's like different, like nice dinners or whatever the fuck, like, but instead of like, the 6-pack, I mean, but we did do that last night too.
Yeah.
Like
12-pack
on the stoop, like with the skater, like, it's, I don't know, it's just like, it's a good, like, that's like the key. I gotta say, like, that's probably the root of it all for me, is like skateboarding. Like,
do you feel like, because you spent a lot of years like working at the shop at FTC, do you think working at a shop like that, so many different people coming in the door, do you feel like you just learned a lot of this communication skills just working there, and like, do you think it informed you, like, your photography and stuff?
I think so. I think definitely. And then I also think I was a really shy kid, and like actually the guys at FTC, like, they were like cool to me, but like tough loved me, like to a point where like it kind of broke me.
Yeah.
and then made me like not shy anymore. So then while working there, I would always think about that. Like I'd always be like, well, how would I feel if like I was this person, you know? And I'd be like, okay, I wouldn't want this person like to, you know, I wouldn't want like my role at that shop. Like I would always try to be extra nice to people, or like outgoing to like tourists or whatever the hell, you know, like. And yeah, it's translated into like everything else.
Dude, I remember the first time I went there to FTC, I didn't know you, and it was like, this is a long time ago. And I went in there, and you actually like wrote down like where the skate spots were. Yeah. Because there's like a lot. I mean, there's some skate shops where they kind of vibe you out, whatever. Yeah. It's whatever it is. But you were just like.
I mean, I feel like that's like kind of frowned upon in skating, like for some reason. But San Francisco, it's like they're like such iconic spots.
You were like, here's Wallenberg, and you wrote it down on a piece of paper. I think it is like.
It's not like I was giving away like secret spots, but it's like one of those things like. It's like, why not just make this easy for people? You know, and be like, yeah, dude, here, like, go here, take this bus to do this. Like, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's like I mean, it's a good thing to do, I think. It's just good to be nice to people, dude. Like, so for me, too, it's like, I always tell people this. Because people are always like, damn, don't you feel like you get, like, taken advantage of or anything? And I'm like, no, it's actually like the opposite. Like it's selfish. It's selfish of me that I'm nice to you. Yeah. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because it's easier for me, and it's like better. It's a better outcome for me. Yeah. You know, it's like it's only better. It's better all the way around. Like it's just like, I don't know sometimes why people don't understand that. Like people are like.
You're like last night you said you're like, yo, they're gonna live their life. Like let them do what they're gonna do. Like don't let it like affect me or whatever.
Dude, I could care less. Like half the time Dude, my mind is so crazy. I forget like stuff from 5 minutes ago. Like I don't hold on to stuff like at all. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like you know, like on to the next little coffee shop or whatever. You know, just like next thing to distract me. Like, but yeah, I try not to hold on to any stuff and like really just enjoy moments and make moments enjoyable for people around me. Like, you know. Just because.
Yeah, man. That's what it is. But I guess wrap up, man. Like, what are you excited about right now, photographically? Like, what's next, dude? It's crazy. We got 3 more months of the year, basically, and then it's into a new year. But like, what are you excited about right now, photographically?
What am I excited about right now, photographically? That's a great question. I don't know. I think I'm excited about. I'm excited about trying to develop new skills this year. Like new skills, not necessarily with like different cameras or lighting or anything like that, but with just like how I shoot certain things and like why I shoot certain things, like kind of analyzing it more and getting into like just different realms of stuff. Like that, I just want to constantly try new stuff because I think shooting something different always helps you do what you're doing like better. And that's really about it. Other than that, just like continuing to go to coffee shops and take photos.
Well, Ando, man, I appreciate it, man. It's been fun this week. Thanks for letting me crash.
Yeah, and come back anytime, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you.
So there you have it. That was the Andrew Caulfield interview. Just want to thank Ando so much for taking the time to do the podcast again and for letting me crash out in San Francisco last week. Really fun time hanging out with him all last week and shooting photos and going to the A's game and just talking photography. Really appreciate Ando's work and just his enthusiasm for photography and life. So definitely go check out Ando's work. His website is andophotos.com, as well as you can check him out on Instagram at ando_. I'll put his links in the description, but definitely go check out more of his work. And as always, I'll be having more podcasts coming soon. Definitely go check out the YouTube channel, The Photo Banter. I'm going to be uploading all the video podcasts up there and much, much more. So if you enjoy the video version, just hit subscribe and you can check us out there. But thanks so much and take care.